Well, we're on the truck today, and what we're trying to do today is there are holes underneath here. So I'm going to replace this piece. I'll probably replace this piece. Has got some holes, and I don't know about the other side really. That side looks pretty good. So I had to make this part. All I'm going to do is going to come up to this curve. So that's going to be my kind of my weld point, and I'll contour that. The windshield frame fits in this hole. The windshield doesn't fit in it. So what I have then is I came over here and I got a piece of sheet metal. I cut it, my plasma cutter, into a strip. Then I bent it on my cheap brake that I have from Harbor Freight. And then I took it over to the shrinker stretcher and got the contour. I actually shrank it along all these, you can see all these lines, that's the shrinking. And I kind of overdid it. So I had to stretch it out just a little bit, which is okay, because now you can see that that fits right up in there. Kind of, you know, finessed it in. Yep, the metal's too long. I'm going to grind that off. And also it needs to be bent inward, and that's okay. So now is the point is I got to cut this part out, grind this all out smooth so it will accept this. I will do that and then come back. So I'm working on this windshield frame opening. Again, this isn't where the windshield sits. The windshield actually sits in a frame that fits in here. So there's a gasket here, but here's what I'm working on. These holes, all these holes in here. I want to tell you, when you cut and weld, sometimes it's best to try to get that body panel in the best position you can get it to do that. So instead of standing up in front of it and welding overhead, I rolled the whole unit down. I rolled it on its back. I got blocks under it so it doesn't damage the bottom here, or the back of the cab. And that way I can get right in here and I can cut that out and I can see exactly what I'm doing where I'm cutting. It makes it a lot easier for the repair if you can do something like that. Otherwise, you know, you could use a rotisserie or something like that, but on a small cab like this, this is probably just as easy. And since it's down here like this, I'm going to also finish up the bottom of this. As you can see, I went ahead and I fixed all the holes that were here. You remember from one of my last episodes for doing this. This was all peppered with holes. So what I did is I took a piece of metal, I cut it out, and I slit the corners, bent them a little bit, and kind of rounded it actually on the little knob of my vise. I pounded it into this corner and kind of cut it, and then I welded it all in. And there's a body line that's right here that I bent. And so I just wanted to kind of touch base because I never really showed how I did that. But I'm going to cut this, fit this into this other panel that I made. I'm going to repair this and pull that all the way over to here to make this all one piece again. I am then going to come over to this side, and as you can see, on this side I actually had to replace more. I actually went into this, came down and around on here. So I had to weld all that in. So on here then I'm going to cut it along that frame. I'm going to make a little patch piece here, and I am going to weld that all, grind that all, make it all smooth like it's supposed to. It's all going to be fit. So in this, I'm not only going to be finishing up and repairing this, I'm also going to be doing those pieces too. And as you can see, you can barely see maybe, there's actually some holes in here too. So I got to replace this little piece here. On the other side, I don't have that problem. Get over there. I don't have that problem. This is where the seam was. And you can see that they had done work to this, probably from the factory. So I'm going to have to rebuild this somehow too. But maybe it's not from the factory. Now that I look at it, this is wrinkled. Maybe this was damaged a little bit at one point. I'm not sure. But regardless, this looks original. This looks right. So, but I gotta do something here. So, okay, that's what I'm gonna be tackling next. So I'm prepping the bottom. You can see I've cut this rotted part out so I can remake this. And it'll come all the way over to here and down to here. And this side, I've trimmed this down. So this is gonna match with this. I can weld that all up. This, like I said, I gotta make a little piece for that, and I'll make a little piece for this. This will get squeezed in. It'll get squeezed in and welded here. I cut the body part out. This body part kind of came around here, down a little bit, and then it kind of flared out. I got rid of that. So I'm gonna weld it right along here. So this will now be all attached to that better. I know it's tacked in here and there, but it'll put it more solid, and then I can dress this so this looks nice and smooth. Same with this other side. I trimmed this out. So now all I gotta do is weld it, grind it. I will pound these down to mate. I'm going to spray some rust converter inside some of these slots and things that I can't get to very well. I can get inside here, and I will be putting a spray inside here, so a lot of this is going to get kind of covered, but some might be kind of tight to do, so I'm going to spray a little bit. Then I've already trimmed this one too, and now all I gotta do is weld it, put that in, be good to go. And that's where I'm at so far. I haven't done the windshield frame part yet, but I'm going to take this kind of one step at a time. It'll be these guys, and then I'll move on over to that. And here's the bottom of it with all the metal work done all the way down here. I'll weld it up. So see, now you can get an idea that this is just going to be smoothed over like that. Now I'm going to skim it, protect all these welds. And then this side will be ready to go. Now I'm going to move on to this side here. I got to make a piece for this, and then I got to weld that all up. The other thing I did do on this side, I want to remember, is that I capped this area. It can probably be ground just a hair more. This will be all skimmed also. This is going to close up the tube that I put in here, and then this will probably be cut back to this line, but all that kind of stuff, and this will be all blocked in, all that kind of stuff has got to be done when I do the firewall for the end with the engine in it, or sizing for the engine. So then when I get to this side, I will plug this, and I will make this similar to that side, and then we'll go from there. And here is this all finished, rounded off. I just took a piece of metal, kind of put it in my vise and bent it, so it made it round. Got all that ground out, welded on. Now I'm going to move on to the windshield frame. So here we are at the windshield area again now. I just cut this out. This is the metal that I cut out, and you can see the holes that are in there. I only cut out enough to get to good material here. I was going to go all the way, but I want to make sure this maintains its rigidity. So I came all the way along and I stopped it here. I made a piece that's long enough to go to here, but this isn't that bad. This is pretty good yet. So it just got a little pocking, but that's it. So I'm going to cut my new piece off from here to there. And here is my new piece here. So, and I already showed the curve in it. So now I just got to trim it to fit. And here we are on that window opening. I trimmed the piece to fit it in. Now I'm starting to weld it in. And with sheet metal, you just gotta tack. This one probably won't warp real bad, but it's still good practice. You can see that I have it butt welded up here. It's lap welded down here. So I'll be grinding this all out and smoothing it all. There probably will be some filler that goes in through there. A little bit through here because there's a body thing going on there. Now I'm going to kind of move on to this part. There's a little chunk that's right here that's got rot holes in it. So I'm going to see if I can make that happen. I did bend up the other piece the other day to fit in there. It's pretty big. All I gotta do is cut this little part of it out and it should fit. So that's what I'm doing next. And this is it. Now I showed that being already tacked in. Got this all tacked in. Now all I'm just going to do is grind it and then I'll finish it out. But this will be the end of this video. The next video I'll probably kind of just touch on this just to show the finished part. So, and that's really about it. That's all I'm going to do on this video.